I have seen a doubt put forth by one of you. Process of education in different social structure and culture. If there is such a question, how can you answer it? Maybe sometimes an essay question from such a topic. Sometimes there may be some paragraph question. Then you have to talk about the process of education in different social structure and in different types of culture. I have discussed in your classroom different social structures like universalistic ascription pattern, universalistic achievement pattern, particularistic ascription pattern, and particularistic achievement pattern. So first of all, you have to define what these different social structures are. Universalistic ascription pattern. Universalistic ascription pattern is a social structure in which people are judged on the basis of what he or she is at universal level. The status which they have got in the society. And this status is not on the basis of the achievements they have acquired, but on the basis of the status which they enjoy as a part of heredity or as a part of the social status which they have been enjoying thousands of years. For example, the Nazi social structure of Germany and the fascist social structure of Italy. Here, according to Nazis, Aryans are the best race in the world from the very beginning. So, regardless to the achievements, regardless to the educational qualifications, regardless to the merits, regardless to the quality, a person who is born in Aryan race should be controlling the whole world. And this is universalistic ascription pattern. Such a society never compromise with anything. They will not be accepting any change. Such a society will be giving some stereotype education. Education will be autocratic. Education will be on the basis of the views and opinion of the ruling party or the people who are controlling such a society. They never accept any change in the world. Their education will be on the basis of the rituals, the lifestyle, the notions, the philosophies which they have got from their scriptures. In such a social pattern, education will be given for the members of such a society to make them able to control the whole universe. They will be providing a sort of mentality in the people of such a society that they are the best in the world. Their race is the best in the world. They deserve the power because they are from the best race in the world. And the second social pattern is universalistic achievement pattern. This is a social structure. In such a social structure, people are judged not on the basis of their hereditary, not on the basis of their country, not on the basis of their nationality, not on the basis of their cultural backgrounds, but people are judged on the basis of what they have achieved in an international level. Achievement is, or the educational qualification is, or the career development, or the ability, or the taste, or the aptitude are the criteria for judging a person in such a social pattern or social structure. According to modern educationists, America is an example. Because they do not believe that Americans are the best in the world. So itself, they are accepting professionals from all over the world. And you can see that Google, one of the online giants, have given the post of its CEO to an Indian. So in a universalistic achievement pattern of society or structure of society, everything is judged on the achievement of a person in an international level. So in such a social structure, education will be democratic. In such a social structure, education will be for creating some international citizens, some people, some professionals who are eligible for international employments. So in such a social structure, education will be for making an individual able to communicate in an international language, that is English, you know. Because the major aim of such a social structure is making a person able to achieve something in a universal level or international level. So education will be democratic. Education will be for creating international professionals. Education will be for creating scientists. Education will be for enhancing communication skill in international language. Because they believe in globalization. They are not believing in some narrow nationalism. They are believing in internationalism. So you can consider the aims of education in a globalized society as the educational aims in a universalistic achievement social structure or social pattern. They're giving importance to what the person achieves, not what the person is. They are not giving any regard to, or they are not bothered about from which country a person comes, from which cultural background a person comes, but they are giving importance to what the person has achieved, what the person has got, what the quality a person possesses. I think you got the point. Then there are two more social structures. Particularistic ascription pattern structure. In a particularistic ascription pattern, a person is judged on the basis of to which cultural background or to which community he or she belongs to in a particular locality or in a particular country. On the basis of his birth, on the basis of his social status, on the basis of his hereditary at a locality he is judged. For example, during the Vedic age or during the Brahmanic age, we kept a sort of particularistic ascription pattern. Only the people who belong to the upper class society were considered as some valuable or significant people in our country. So this is a sort of particularistic ascription pattern. Again, in such a society, the aims of education will be for cultivating the cultural elements, and education will be on the basis of the scriptures. So education will not be democratic. Education will not be given to all the people in that country in such a social pattern. Education will be for cultivating the values which are considered values in their social pattern. For example, during Vedic age, the aim of education was realizing moksha. And according to the Vedic principles, moksha would be attained only by some upper class people like Brahmins and Kshatriyas. So there will not be any sort of education to the lower caste people. And even if some better education is gained by some people of the lower caste people, they are not considered as educated. They are not given the posts which were given to the upper class people. You can just take the example of Ekalavya. If he had been considered on the basis of his quality, he might have been given the crown of a warrior. So everything is considered on the basis of the local status, social status. So education will not be democratic in such a social pattern. Education will not be modern in such a social pattern. Education will be for cultivating some traditional values. It will not be for social change. There will not be any sort of education for social change. There will not be any sort of education for modernization. There will not be any sort of education for cultural acculturation. Education will be for enculturation. Because such a society will never accept the elements of the culture of other societies. And then again, there is something else called particularistic achievement pattern. In such a society, a person is judged on the basis of the achievement, the quality, the qualification he or she has gained at the national level or the local level. In such a society, education will be democratic. Every person will be given education. Education will be for cultivating democratic values. Education will be for cultivating secular values. Education will be for acculturation. Education will be for creating better citizens. Education will be for creating for human resource development. And education will be giving more due regard to the quality of the person and the intelligence of the person, the merit of the person. Each and every person from each and every session or a section of the society will be giving due regard. In such a society, education will be concentrating on creating some individuals who are able to contribute for the national development. So these are the process of education in different social structures. And if you ask the process of education in different cultural backgrounds, and again actually this culture is related to the social structure. And if you ask such a question, we can answer in a different style. There are different types of culture, closed culture and open culture. And if you look at achievement pattern of society, maybe universalistic or particularistic, they are open. Open culture means the state, the state of a society where the people are ready to accept any change. They are ready to accept virtues of other cultural elements. So in such a society, education will be an important part. Education will be for social reformation. Education will be for social change. Education will be for economic development. Education will be for national development. Education will be for modernization. And in a closed culture, actually closed culture is a part of this ascription pattern of society. People are not ready to accept any other cultural elements. People are not ready to accept social change. So in such a society, modern education will not be given more importance. Education will be given only to the upper class people or the people of the majority. And education will be for cultivating the traditional values. Education will be for cultivating, preservation of the culture, not for the acculturation process. So this is something called the process of education in different social structure and culture. And I feel that you have got the point. And if doubts are there still, you can clarify by asking me. Thank you very much.